Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, it feels like this is the saga that just continues and continues and continues. We heard from Bob Arum a few days ago in reference to Bill Haney, Devin Haney, and the fight that they had with Regis Prograis. Now, Bob said that the fight didn't do particularly well. He didn't say that it was necessarily something that was tied to Devin Haney. He was just basically saying that it could be just tied to the overall circumstance. And of course, Bill Haney is responding to everything that everybody is saying. He went on his live stream and basically said that Bob jumped out of an airplane and basically fell on his head. That Bob Arum is not privy to any pay-per-view information or numbers associated with their fight, which is probably true. And that they continue to create a false narrative for Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis can no longer hide. Now, the question that I have is why on God's green earth would Bob Arum continue to create a false narrative for Gervonta Davis, a fighter that's not associated with Top Rank? So that comment doesn't make any sense. But Bill, as I've said so eloquently in the past, is really good at promoting his fighter. And I think this is a part of it as well. And I also have a theory, if you will, in regards to why we're hearing the Haney's be absolutely so vocal about a fight with Gervonta Davis. Now, I want to talk about what Devin Haney had to say on Aki Harai, right? Because he did an interview with him here recently that dropped. I want to play that clip very quickly in regards to what Devin Haney had to say. And then I want to talk about that because it was an interesting statement.
Tank said to you on Twitter, he's going to offer you 10% to fight. What was your thoughts on that?
Man, listen, give me the same deal you gave Ryan and we got to fight.
Give me the same deal that you gave Ryan and we got to fight. So now that's an interesting one, Jay, because number one, when you think about the deal that Ryan Garcia got, he was guaranteed $2.5 million. Tank was guaranteed $5 million. So that's number one. Are you really interested in having a guarantee that's only $2.5 million? Number two, the split was in favor of Gervonta Davis, from my understanding, 60-40 split, right? That deal also contained a rehydration clause. So what Devin is doing at this moment, and a catch weight, but I'm not going to go there. But the deal contained a bunch of different things in it. And what you're saying is that I want the financial aspect of the deal, which I really don't think you understand that the guarantee was only $2.5 million. But in theory, you want the financial aspect of it because I believe you're hearing the $30 million. But you don't want the other part of it. And that comes with being the B side. Similarly, Ryan understood that he was the B side. Now, he also said in that video that he believes that he's the bigger draw right now versus Ryan. Here's where I go into my other theory, Jay. And I'm going to wrap this up quickly because I know you have some things to say on this. But you believe you're a bigger draw than Ryan. Ryan is never sold out, but Ryan does have a big following. But really, it takes two to tango. And it was the boxing presence of Gervonta Davis with the social media presence of Ryan Garcia that came together and made a huge fight. So that's what Ryan brought. Devin brings a boxing aspect to it, but he doesn't bring a huge, let's call it casual fan aspect to the fight. So I don't know if Devin can command the same split. But not only that, where there's smoke, there's fire. We keep hearing 50,000 pay-per-view buys between he and Regis Prograis. That's what we keep hearing. We've heard it on social media from reporters. I've heard it personally. I hadn't gotten a number, but I heard that it was not a good showing or performance or showing for Devin Haney in terms of pay-per-view sales. And similar to what Bob said, that's okay. Sometimes it's just the circumstances that are occurring at that moment. It's not necessarily you. But it makes me wonder if, because they keep speaking to, we sold out the arena, which is great. But what was the gate on the arena? I'm not sure what the gate was. Jay, if you could look up the gate real quick, because I don't know what the gate was. But they keep harping on selling it out. so forth and so on. Why not just talk about your pay-per-view numbers then? What did you do from a pay-per-view perspective? If you keep saying it was a success, okay, what did you do from a pay-per-view perspective? I feel like Bill doesn't want that information out there. You keep talking in circles. You keep saying things like, you know, it was a success. You focus on a sold-out arena, but you don't focus on the actual overall overarching financials associated with it. I always say you can tell what's going on by what a person says, but also what they don't say. And he's not speaking to those things. And some people don't like to hear about the business of boxing, but this is a part of it. And this is part of the reason why fights are not made. Because right now, I feel like Bill is on a campaign to put out a certain perception in terms of Devin, the face of boxing, which we know he's not, 50,000, sold out arena. I think they're trying to create a narrative that Devin is the star that deserves a certain amount. And I think they're trying to go ahead and cash out on that big fight and get as much as they can by creating this narrative that Devin generates, so that when he comes to the table trying to get more than what he's actually valued at, people will then blame Gervonta Davis. Because at some point, when they come to the negotiation table with Gervonta Davis and his team, they're going to have to show pay-per-view numbers. And then all the truth is going to come out, right? So you're going to have to disclose it at some point, but you've already created the narrative out there to combat that in case the fight is not made. That is my thought. And I'm not saying that they're afraid. I don't think they're afraid. I just think it's a matter of they're trying to figure out ways to maximize their dollars.
Business.
Jay, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, a few things regarding Ryan. We know first thing people are going to say, have said, that Ryan was never on pay-per-view before he fought Tank, which is true. That's facts. But one thing Ryan had was not only his social media following, he was also pumped up by Mike Tyson, which gave him a huge push. He was on hot boxing with Mike Tyson. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And Mike Tyson had Tank on the phone. When you going to fight this blank blank? Da-da-da-da-da. So that helped pump it up, although that was a little bit over a year some change before they actually fought. It still had that mystique on there, and they still would talk to Mike about it, and Mike would still pump it. So they had that going for him. Whether the sales were 50,000 or 100,000, 25,000, 75,000, it's never been close to what Tank has done with Ryan, nor without Ryan. So we know who's going to be the biggest draw on that. It's also funny the fact that these are coming out. The words that came out of Devin's mouth was saying that he wants the same deal as Ryan. People are just over there crying and complaining. Well, he shouldn't do this. He doesn't have to do this. 140 and no rehydration clause. The man just said he'll take what Ryan had, rehydration clause, and the catch weight. Everything that his fans, I don't know what you want to call those sicko fans, some we talked to on the last live that we do every Sunday at 4 p.m. We're going against it. But Devin just contradicted everything they said. Now, I've been on the fence of saying I want to have it kind of even for both. You could give concessions, the other person gives concessions. Devin just said he pretty much given up everything by doing what Ryan did. But to your point, Greg, the guarantee of 2.5 million, 5 million, that's thinking that you're going to outsell this fight here is going to outperform the Ryan fight. I don't think it does, just because the popularity is not there for Devin. Not because he's a lesser fighter than Ryan. He's a better fighter than Ryan, of course. This would be as far as a boxing person, this would be the best match I've seen in a long time, hopefully. But as far as popularity, it's not going to be there with Ryan. So if he wants to take that deal, you got to see, Tank got to think about, well, do I take this deal and I take less also because this ain't going to hit the same thing? Or do I have to need a little bit more pushing in there for us making the deal a little bit like 65-35 instead of 60-40 on the back end? So I mean, I give him credit for saying that. Now it's up to Tank's team to call his bluff. I want them calling his bluff on this right now, using this information right here to put a period at the end. You said you're going to take Ryan deal? Here you go, Devin. Take it or shut up. Point blank, period. We don't need to talk no more. You said out of your own mouth you would take it. You also said that I was a 135 pounder. You also said that you only come back to fight me at 135. Now you say you want to fight Ryan. Then you say you don't want to fight anything other than 140 and no rehydration clause and no catch weights. Which one is it, Dev? You're a hell of a fighter. I want to see you and Tank fight. So Tank, his people, please send Devin the contract that y'all sent Ryan and see what he does. and then we'll know what they really about.
Yeah, I don't think Devin really thought that comment through. Honestly, I think he was really focused on the $30 million. I don't begrudge
I
Devin
think so
for not
too.
fighting at 35. He's too big to fight at 35. I don't begrudge him for that at all.
I know. I agree.
I don't I don't I don't begrudge him for trying to drum up interest in this fight and make this fight happen. And I think every fighter should get the most money that they possibly can. But I really think right now they're trying to create a specific image of Devin right now, which it's smart to try to do. And Bill is doing the best he can
Oh,
to do
definitely.
that. And I don't begrudge him for doing that. But for me, I feel like that's what it is. That's what they're currently doing. And I want to see the fight. I don't know if that fight's going to actually happen because, there's no way Tank's going to allow Devin to come in the ring 15 pounds heavier than him. I struggle to believe that this fight's going to happen just because of that. I think you can get around the money to some extent. I think Devin would probably be willing to offer him something that is respectable, something that, because, I think Devin and Tank would do good numbers. I don't think it's going to do
He
Ryan
will.
numbers. I'm thinking like,
Well,
I'm thinking maybe 500,000 pay-per-view buys or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe
yeah.
six, something like that. I think they could possibly do. So I mean, that would be good money for both of them. I think from a percentage, if I I don't know if either are going to like. I think Devin will make the biggest payday he's had, but I don't know about Tank just from a
No,
split
Tank won't get.
perspective.
No, Tank won't get the biggest day.
Yeah.
Devin get the biggest pay for him for sure.
Yeah, because
Tank won't.
I mean the percentage would have to be skewed so far in in Tank's favor to get to that number again. So at 500,000 pay-per-view buys, but we'll see. So you guys tell us what you think in the comment section of what Devin Haney had to say in regards to being willing, able, and ready to accept a contract similar to what was offered to Ryan Garcia. I don't think he really thought that comment all the way through, but you guys tell us what you think. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.